Lyndsey, we're about to take our first run out at Breckenridge today. I'd love to know, do you have some techniques or tactics you think about when you're warming up for your first run of the day?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love to get really intentional in my body movements and making sure I'm specifically warming up with movements that are going to make my snowboard. All right, so I like to start first off with getting ready for magnitude of pressure between the board and surface interaction. So I'm just going to get into some squats, just flexing those ankles, knees, and hips. As you can see, I like to get real low, and I'll give myself like 10 reps, just kind of in a straight glide. So scrub some speed if I need to in between reps. Okay, so that's magnitude of pressure warm up. Next, I'm going to go into a pivot warm up. So trying to use pivot through flexion, extension, rotation. What I like to do is start with my upper spine, use some rotation in my upper spine. Just feeling how that movement eventually works all the way down the spine and gets the board to pivot, ideally around a centered point. Okay. And then from there, I like to calibrate a little bit and do a bow tie. Okay, so warming up rotation of the lower spine, flexion, extension of the ankles and knees. All right, so I've got my pivot warmed up. Next, I'm thinking about twist. So a twist, I like to try and do some ground 360s, really focusing on opposition of those ankles flexing and extending. And then I'll spin the other way. All right, and then just kind of waking up the different variations of timing I have for those twist movements. All right, so here I'm going to start to work on managing pressure along the width of the snowboard. So I'm going to think about my upper body, my center of mass. I'm going to think about moving that over the snowboard, kind of acting as a metronome. This is another sort of calibration one, so that later, if I'm raising this awareness while I'm riding of which body part is actually moving, later on I'm going to have that awareness to be able to check in and see where the movement is coming from to make that performance happen. All right, so we did a little metronome. Let's try some pendulum. I'm going to do a more open turn shape here, focusing on moving the snowboard under my stable center of mass to manage that pressure along the width. Let's do some fun tilt stuff. So now I'm going to work on some edge rolls, really just getting those ankles woken up again. Okay, rolling from edge to edge, lots of angulation coming through the ankles right now. Let's see, I've got one more fundamental. I've got a warm up, which is pressure along the length of the snowboard. So what I'm going to do here is try to do a nose press into my turn, tail press out, really like work on the range there. So nose press in, tail press out, nose press in, tail press out. Right now, you might see that my center of mass is moving over the snowboard. Now what I'm going to do is shift and see if I can pull my snowboard under a stable center of mass. Okay, so not getting so much of a press anymore, but now focus on that push-pull of the board underneath me. All right, that is quick warm-up, all 6 fundamentals, ready to go for the day.